Hey, slash I do buckaroos. How the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisper for the purposes of this particular video. Bear with me as I try to check on something real fast. Nope. No, that didn't work like I'm supposed to. There we go. Now it's running. All right. Just run a little slow. That's all. Oh, yeah. I forgot it does that, though. All right. How the heck are you? Let me set this down somewhere. So I decided to pour myself a beer I've had for a little while. Got a few of these I'm trying to work through. This is the Muckraker Imperial Stout at 9% from an Aqua Brewing Company out of Wisconsin. I've done videos where I've read the back of the can. I'm not going to do that today. Just to say that the sale of this great tasting Imperial Stout will help fund those efforts, and those efforts are, well, those that are actually trying to make a difference in the country today, as opposed to those that are trying to tear us down and are ushering in a fascist state. You pick this up and show that to you. It's a very nicely done Imperial Stout. I haven't had one in a while, so kind of refreshing myself as well. Refresh my memory, I mean to say. Big roasted barley notes on the nose. Also picked up, that might be just me. So picked up a hint of vanilla right there. Right on the tip there. Oh, yeah, that's nice. 9%, they do hide it well. You really can't taste that 9. I'm sure I'll feel it later, but boy, it is Imperial Stout weather here in the Ozarks. It's only going to get up to 25, and I don't think we're quite there yet today. Oh, set that down. But I did pour me some whiskey as well. In fact, I'm going to have to move this because my whiskey bottle was holding it up. You might be surprised to know that I'm not really in this Western saloon behind me, but I thought it made a nice backdrop here. I've got the old Dominic. I've only had this. This is only my second pour out of this bottle. I hadn't had it in a little while, so I wanted to revisit here. Just going to have a little bit at a time while I'm working through some other stuff. But man, I really want to try this one again. It is a single barrel straight whiskey out of Memphis, Tennessee, family owned, Old Dominic. This one's at 118.41. It's aged 7 years, aged in West Tennessee white oak barrels. The mash bill is 83% wheat. That's a lot of wheat. 12% corn and 5% malted barley. That is a very nice mix going on there. If I can read some of this here. I got a sticker in my way I'm trying to remove here. Oh, it's peeling the stuff off, unfortunately. Oh, darn. I hate when it does that. Anyway, darn it. Barrel entry proof, 110. Made it in Memphis, the Old Dominic Distillery. Unfortunately, I took off some of that. I didn't mean to, but anyways, let me show you this bottle. I had myself a nice pour here in my Hard Rock glass, a Tulsa. Oh man, that nose is just beautiful, man. Oh, Monday. I thought I'd start a little bit earlier than typical on Monday. Like I said, this is a vacation day for me as I'm healing up from surgery. Everything's looking well, though. Show you those stitches. I get those out on Wednesday. Get that elbow up to you. I had 3 procedures done. I just had carpal tunnel. They had a couple other things going on. I guess it's all rather routine anymore. When he was explaining to me just before the surgery, he said it takes 35 to 45 minutes. Okay. And then later, a nurse came in, and at first glance, she thought it was just the carpal tunnel. Then she read the other thing. Oh, no, you're having this done. Okay, that's why it's more than typical 5-minute carpal tunnel. So, okay. So apparently, just carpal tunnel only takes about 5 minutes anymore, according to that particular nurse, anyway. Oh, boy, the nose on that is just insane. Oh, gosh, that's good. That is just delightful. Wheat whiskey. So it's not quite the same animal as a wheated bourbon. That large percentage of corn coupled with the wheat tends to make a softer, sweeter bourbon than a traditional. But this wheat whiskey, it is quite different. Again, only 12% corn. So it's not as sweet, but you do have that soft wheat body here. And that's what's appealing to me is I'm not as big a fan of wheat whiskey or wheat bourbons as most, but I do love the wheat whiskey because I love that mouthfeel, right? The texture. It's just a pleasing whiskey to drink. Very easy to drink at that particular proof as well. I've been fiddling around with some cocktails, and I'm trying to, put together some Valentine's cocktails. But I thought to start with today, I really just wanted to, strip it down to the purest form, right? Just a good beer, a good stout for the weather, and then just some whiskey neat. Beautifully done imperial stout. A lot of big roasted barley notes. You might feel some dark chocolate. You might get some coffee like flavors and aromas as well. That's really between you and your taster, as you're not going to taste things you don't know. You're going to interpret it a very specific way. Mm. As I mentioned earlier, I was picking up just that slightest notion of vanilla on the nose, and I do feel it here in the body as well, right about midway through. Oh, just absolutely gorgeous. Let me set that down again. Almost like some malt dark chocolate in there with just the slightest notion of vanilla. I don't get my hard rock glass out very often, so I thought I'd use it here. I'm a little bit different. A lot of folks like to use Glencairns, and I do have several versions of, and there's nothing wrong with them, and I like to use them upon occasion. But I don't know. For me, I just love a traditional glass. Whiskey neater, where this would be more of a rocks glass. But yeah, I think it's just perfect to pour whiskey in. The old movies and TV shows, they'd always use a glass like this. They wouldn't have that fancy glass. No. Such a velvety, smooth texture. So easy to drink. Oh, my wife had said that some French onion soup sounded good, so I worked up some stock earlier today. So that'll be lunch slash dinner earlier. We got a little bit of salad mix left we need to finish up. So I'll work on that when I'm done with this video. Caramelized some onions, got the stock going. So now I just got to put that all together now. French onion is a great, very simple but hearty soup, perfect for the weather I have here today in the Ozarks. So let me get that on so I've got it ready. It won't take me that long to put it together for lunch or dinner, late lunch, early dinner, whatever. That steakhouse classic, if you will, French onion soup. Most steakhouses in the day had French onion soup and or clam chowder. A lot of places only had clam chowder on Fridays. That was the day for clam chowder. So when we did go out, like to go out on Fridays to get the clam chowder for the soup. Let me set this down. Work on this beer again. Oh man, that is so nice. I was wanting this to warm up. That's why I've been kind of, going slow with it, letting her warm a little bit. And as I have done that, as it warms, the aromatics really bloom. And it's not necessarily that something's better a little bit warmer or more of a cellar temp than a refrigerator temp, is that it's just different, right? So I tend to let it start with a cold and watch it change, watch it evolve. You'll notice that the notes are sharper. The flavors, the aromas are sharper when it's cold, meaning you really can feel them and taste them, but they're more disjointed. They're very sharp on each level. As it warms up, then they all seem to come together more cohesively. Not that I'm not saying one way is necessarily better than the other. I'm just telling you how it presents itself. That's why a lot of folks like to wait till it gets to a cellar temp about 50, 55. And some folks like myself like to start with a little colder just to watch her and taste those changes. Because I kind of like those sharper notes, but I also like to feel as it gradually comes together to what it's supposed to be. And I can tell you I'm just about there right now. So I'm going to set this down again. Whereas you feel those chocolate notes, those coffee notes, that little bit of vanilla, and they kind of hit boom, boom, boom. You get this, you get this, you get this. But as it warms, they all just kind of come together. Oh. I've been in or around the craft beer community for a lot of years. Here in Springfield, I've met a lot of great people through it. And it's not just about the products or the breweries slash distilleries or whatever. It's just the people you meet along the way. I've forged a lot of great friendships. So even though I don't get out as much as I once did or drink as much as I once did, it is nice to have some of those lasting friendships. Some folks I've known for a decade, some 2 decades, some even 3 decades now, as I've been in Springfield now. Just a hair over 3 decades. And most of the people just come together, right? And that's nice to see. And that's the best thing about the craft beer world and now the craft distillery world as well, is that that's what it does. It brings folks together. Sometimes you meet on social media until you can meet meet in person. I've done that on a few vacations now. When we've gone away, I've met folks in person that I met initially on some sort of social media page. One of my good friends I met just a hair over a decade ago, maybe closer to a decade and a half now, but right around that time, when he still lived in another state, but here visiting in line at Mother's for one of their special releases. And now we've become great friends over the years now that he lives in Springfield. And that's the great thing about the community, that most folks just want to come together and help people out. Oh gosh, that's nice. I'm going to set that down. I'm going to go back to this beer now. Muckraker Imperial Stout, Monocle Brewing out of Wisconsin. Oh yeah. See, now it's settled down a little bit. Adding to the other things that we mentioned, the coffee, the dark chocolate. Now I'm feeling some caramel notes in there. Some very creamy caramel notes. Oh gosh, that's just gorgeous. Finishes a little drier than you would expect a big 9% Imperial Stout to finish. That's interesting for me. And quite frankly, it never quite gets as sweet as you might think it's going to. Again, 9% Imperial Stout. It comes off big and then it just mellows itself out. This is absolutely gorgeous beer, man. All right, folks. One more time with the whiskey as I look to finish that up here. Hard Rock Tulsa, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tulsa. Visited there a couple years ago. We actually were there on the second and third, and because it was right after the first, right? They had some serious bargains on some rooms, so got us a room. Visited a small handful of breweries. I think I only got to 4. But it was nice. I like to get back out that way. It's just a shame that Oklahoma isn't doing better than it is. Tulsa, I kind of like, but I mean, they're because of their policies. I mean, they're right near the bottom in education, quality of life. It's just a shame. As you drive through some of that area, it looks really nice, and all of a sudden you get to where, I mean, it's just you can see the areas of poverty, you can see the homeless camps, and sadly, our country is becoming a lot of that lately. Even here in Springfield, mercy, that's nice. Let me show you this bottle one last time as I finish this whiskey. Old Dominic, family owned out of Memphis, Tennessee. I do enjoy their products as well as our Huling Station products. This one is at 118.41. It's a 7-year-old wheat whiskey at 59.2%, aged in West Tennessee white oak barrels. The mash bill again is 83% wheat, 12% corn, 5% malted barley. That's a lot of wheat. That's why the body on this whiskey is so soft. That's why it's just so delectable and pleasing to drink. That amount of wheat, just that little bit of corn to add a touch of sweetness in there. It's absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, I digress. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and And let me show you this can one last time as well. Binocular Brewing Company, Muckraker Imperial Stout at 9%. Look these guys up. They're fighting the good fight. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, for rare wisdom, all around good guy. Sláinte. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one.